Give people a couple minutes to get on. We'll give people one more minute and then we'll start our accountability. Okay, let's go ahead and start our accountability. So we'll go through how many contacts you've made and if you've got any appointments or in any contracts. And Ashley, you want to get us started?
Yeah, I have an appointment on Wednesday and I've added 5 new people so far since the last one.
Excellent, great job. And Nora?
Hi, I'm doing right now my drop-ins. I'm delivering pies to my clients,
Awesome.
and I have one request to find a property. They want to buy cash, and this is my second transaction with them. And hopefully, after I finish my deliveries, I'll go back to the office and I'll get into that. So we'll see.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Oh, there's another person coming. Hello. Welcome on. You want to do your accountability real quick?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure, we will do. For this, I'm working only with the buyer. I haven't really entered anything in my database yet, but I'm here trying to find house for a buyer, and it's those buyers that want a specific place. So it's been kind of hard.
Yes, I
Yeah,
can imagine. Well, great job.
Okay.
I'm Kevin.
I'm being situated. Sorry.
No problem. You're totally fine. When you come in, Kevin. Oh, did you come into the office?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And you got your book. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, you need your materials, but you've got it. Everyone, welcome Kevin. He is our newest KW family member. He just joined us on Friday. All right, we're gonna go track down Mr. Galen Haas. He is our instructor for today. He's been in the real estate business for 31 years and a principal broker for the past 12. He's been the team leader of the Haas real estate team for 28 years. He started our KW in Eugene Springfield office in 2006. And Galen is a coach for Star Power Star. Galen founded Real Pro Systems, which is like a CRM system that you guys might have heard of. And then he's currently as a national speaker and trainer on real estate technology and lead generation. So I always say we're super spoiled to have him here locally and as an instructor, since people do pay for him to go to his classes across the country. I will be right back. All right, Galen's getting on right now. He just had his computer crashed. So working on good old technology. Did anyone host any open houses this weekend?
I did a shadow on an open house.
Oh, awesome. How'd that go?
It was good. There was like one creepy person, but other than that, I think it went well.
Good. Yeah, it's nice not being alone when you do those, just in case you get a lucky
Yeah.
loop.
Yeah, no, it was definitely interesting. I was happy that the next people that came to see it came when they did, because it like scared the guy off and he just like didn't come in.
Oh, good.
But he was like standing outside staring for a really long time and had like a giant duffel bag, like his whole life was in it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hannah's
So
a
I
good
learned,
person.
yeah, she like gave me some scripts on like what to say, like if, you know, like things go awry and it's like not your typical. So that was like a good learning experience to just be like,
Yeah.
you can say, you know, like I need you to leave your bag outside, or, you know, like right up by the front door or under the table and I'll keep an eye on it, or just like different ways to kind of handle that situation. Like, of course, the owners are not going to be okay with you carrying a giant bag around their house,
Right.
like having stuff in there or something. Who knows?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah, so that was a good learning experience. I tend to like think the best of people and might not. I mean, that situation definitely seemed a little off, but like I usually am more on like the benefit of the doubt side. So it definitely gave me a perspective of just like be aware, be cautious.
Yep, absolutely. Always have to be alert. We always say too to only allow, like, keep all the doors locked except for the front door. So that way no one can like be coming in through an exit in the garage.
Oh, isn't something we really talked about. Well, that's good to be aware of as well.
Yeah. He's for human.
He like doesn't have like
Zoom.
yeah, all of his like histories. He's just trying to figure. Okay,
If you need help with the login for your combo,
you might have to just make
I can do that too.
Turn your camera.
No.
Hey, two people are now joining.
Yeah.
So what happened?
My camera's not on because you won't stay out of the camera if I turn it on.
Wait, turn the camera.
No.
Okay.
Go play.
Bye-bye.
She's like, okay, bye.
Oh, oops. I didn't realize it wasn't on mute. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. She's cute.
She had a cough, so I had to keep her home from school today. So
Yeah, it's been going around.
I was like, I should have just sent her with the cough.
Right?
It's been one of those days.
They would have called and been like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely would have sent her home.
Your order, Jimmy Gillis. Anyone have any really fun Thanksgiving plans, like going out of town or having people come here or anything fun? Me neither. Gonna try to live vicariously through you.
won't launch soon. Like it won't, like. I don't know what to do, because I just need just like not opening it. If you can get to it, it clicks launch meeting and then nothing happens. Does it show up?
One moment.
Actually,
All right, we're almost there, guys. Switch computers. All right, here you go. You've been introduced, so you're good to go.
Great.
They're ready for you.
Thank you,
You're
Mara.
welcome.
Got saved by Mara here. Just a sec. Okay. Sorry about this, everybody, but there's always excuses, but I had a computer get hacked on Friday and I lost everything on it, including everything on my desktop, which I had Zoom on my desktop. I lost all my emails, my calendar, everything. So anyway, sorry about that, but here we are. So thanks for coming today. We're going to be talking about how to take leads and actually generate them into business. So how many of you, just to kind of get an idea of where everybody's at here, I just kind of want to find out how many of you have actually been working on getting leads and have a plan right now on converting those leads. Just raise your hand. So you already have one. Okay. And so in that plan, how successful have you been? You can unmute yourself if you want to.
I assume you're referring to me.
Yeah, Amanda, how successful have you been?
Well, I got I've been I got licensed at the very end of beginning of August. And from then till now, I got 3 clients pre-approved, and one of which is really actively house hunting.
Okay,
Say for being less than 6 months, I'm having a pretty successful find a lead to getting a lead, at least through some steps.
okay. So do you actually have a plan for when you get raw leads coming in, to convert them into a business long-term plan, like any kind of a plan on how to keep in touch with them and so on like that?
Well, I'm really trying to capitalize on command.
Okay,
'Cause I got all those smart plans and automation. I myself
Right.
am unfortunately compute tarded, so it's requiring a little bit of effort to get the hang of, but obviously having those follow-up contacts and things like that to keep the relationship. And I host events usually about once a month.
okay, okay. So here's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a little bit guilty of not following the plan that'll be on your in your workbook and on screen as much as I probably should. I kind of jump off on different things, but I guess Mara introduced me, but I've spent 34 years. This is my 34th year in real estate, and I've been through 2 major shifts in the real estate market, and this will be my 3rd one that we're going into right now. And the reason I'm throwing that in there is because I've survived the last 2 of them. And the main reason I survived them was because of the fact that I had a plan set up for keeping in touch with prospects in my database. And it's one of the things that, you know, if you want to survive what we've got coming ahead of us, you're going to need to have that. So right now, one of the crucial things you need to be doing is spend a lot of time lead generating. And I hope you guys are doing a lot of lead generating. I could get started on lead generating and go through that for a whole session, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to talk about how to convert those leads into real business. And so once you've got those leads from your lead gen, the majority of them you're not going to turn into real business right away. Most of it's a long-term situation, and you've got to keep yourself in front of those leads and continually prospect those leads if you're going to ever have any hope of converting them. And one of the things that we really find is that most of the people that we have in our databases, some of them will convert, you know, within weeks, but the majority of them, guess what? It's going to be 6 months, a year. It could even be 5, 6, 7 years. So number one, the more leads that you have that you're keeping in touch with, the more business you're going to do. So if I've got a database of 10 people and my conversion rate on those leads is somewhere around maybe 3%, you know, I'm not going to convert many of those into real business. But if I've got a database that I've generated that might be 1,000 people and I convert it 3%, that's quite a bit of business over a period of time. So number one, I want to grow my database. I want to make my database as large as I can. And then I want to have a system that automatically keeps me in touch with that database. And so what Amanda was talking about was she was trying to master command. One of the primary things that you can do is to have some kind of a system, a database, and a system that allows you to keep in contact with that database over a period of time. So converting contacts into real business, you got to have a database. And you also need to have a system that you do and you use it regularly to convert those leads into real business. And the biggest thing is that so many people think that, okay, I've got a lead and I'm gonna keep in touch with them a couple times. Well, you can't do that. You got to keep in touch with them regularly. It's got to be something that's systematic, and it's got to be something that you do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you never quit doing it. Because like I said, it could be a couple of weeks or it could be years before you convert them. So you've got to have an ongoing process of keeping yourself in front of them. Staying on top of mind with your clients is extremely important, which means that by keeping in touch with them, keeping by direct mail, by phone call, various different things that you might be doing on the internet and so on, you build what's called top of mind awareness. So in other words, you let those prospects that are in your database that you're keeping in contact with, you keep it fresh in their memory that you're in the business of selling real estate. and you're there and you're working. And so that when they think about real estate, where you want this to go is that when they think about real estate, you're the first name that pops in their head. You do that by keeping in front of people over and over and over and over again. And over a period of time, that awareness and that top of mind awareness just keeps growing and stronger all the time. So if you've got a lead that's in your database and you've been doing a good job of keeping yourself in front of them, and they've been in there for say a year, and you've been in front of them say 35 times in that year, guess what? They're going to know who you are. Okay, they're going to know who you are, and they think about real estate. They think about you. That's what you want. So the other thing is you also, from keeping in front of those people in your database, you're also working on them to convert them into real business, but you're also working on other people that they might know that might be thinking about buying or selling a house. So as you develop that top of mind awareness, you're not only creating that with them, but and their ability to maybe use you in buying or selling a house, but also they think about you if they're going to talk to somebody, a friend or a relative or somebody else that's thinking about buying or selling a house, your name comes up. Okay, so building that top of mind awareness is highly important. And so I'm just going to scroll down here. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, and it's all through communicating with your database. And when I first started with Keller Williams, I already had a database and I already had a system for communicating with my database, but I wasn't sophisticated as much as I was after I met with a number of Keller Williams agents that were using a program called 33 Touch. So 33 Touch means that you touched every person in your database 33 times a year. Okay, so I took that 33 Touch, and what I've done is I've expanded it, and mine's more like 133 Touch. That's how many times I touch everybody in my database. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Some of them are going to cost you a little bit of money. Some of them are free. So you've got, but you have to have a plan, and you got to have a plan on when you're going to touch the people in your database and how you're going to touch them. And so if I look at the chart that we've got here, it's talking about 19 to connect. And it says 4 touches quarterly, which is phone calls. So 12 touches monthly, email, newsletter, market report, and video.
I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let me turn the volume up on this. Am I completely muted?
You're not muted. It's just when you turn your head to the side, like when you're looking away from the computer, it's like the sound's not coming through.
Okay, I'm on 2 computers here, so you got to kind of live with me a little bit on this. And this is Mara's computer, so I'm not used to it. So I'll try to key into the microphone as much as I can. So 2 touches, promotional direct mail such as a magnet, calendar, printed market report, etc. 1 touch, annual event, a party, movie, screenings, get together. Okay, so 36 touches to convert, 4 touches, telephone calls, 25 touches, bi-weekly email offering some type of information of value to the consumer, 2 touches, events, get-togethers, parties, promotional direct mail such as a magnet calendar and magnet report or market report. I'm sorry. So all that's really important that you have all of that. And so you can easily set that up in Command, any place that you've got your database. Most of them also have the ability to set up an action plan. So what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to set up an action plan so that every one of these touches is automated. And the phone calls are the ones that you're going to have to pick up the phone and manually do. The rest of them, you can set up emails, you can set up text messaging, you can set up all of those to be automated. So you can make most of this automated. So what you want to do, first of all, is decide how many times you're going to make contact with your prospect monthly, yearly, and then how you're going to do it, and then set up that action plan. And as I mentioned when we were first talking, this is something that's got to be ongoing. You can't do this for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months and expect it to work. This has got to be something that's ongoing. It's got to go week after week, month after month, year after year, year after year. The more consistent you are with this, the more successful you're going to be with it. And also the better lead conversion you're going to get out of it. So if I put in just a mediocre effort on how many times I keep in contact with this database, I might get some conversion. And so in other words, if I keep in touch with everybody in my database a dozen times a year, I might get some conversion out of that, but it's not going to be anything compared to what if I keep in touch with them 36 times. And then even if I expand that to doubling that, let's say we expand that to 75 times a year. Okay. The more you keep yourself in front of them, the more contacts you make with them, the more the larger that percentage of conversion is going to be. And you might take that conversion rate from 3% to 5% to 6% by doing that. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about different things that you can do to put into that action plan that are going to help you with your conversion. So, and I'm going to kind of go through, I'm going to start out by telling you exactly what I do. And this is pretty much the same thing I've done for quite a few years, and we've been very successful with it. So, so anyway, here's what we do. Number one, we have the database set up. We have an action plan set up. And so every single Monday morning, number one, I send out an email. I send this email out to my entire database. Now I've got quite a few people in my database. I've got a database of past clients that are, I'm just going to give you a rough number on this right now. We've probably got about 4,500 in that database. So, but I've also got a database of people that come in from our websites. And this is a large database. Most of these people I've never met, never talked to. They've just come in and done a home search or got information on their property, whatever it might be, on their website, given us a first name and email address. I've got about 15,000 there. So as you can see, I've put a lot of time in over the years in lead generating, and I've generated a large database. But the one thing I do is that every single Monday morning, I send out what's called my Monday morning real estate update. It's an email that I send out to that entire database. So every Monday morning, every single one of those people get an email from me. And here's what you do in the email. And this is very easy. It's something that takes me maybe 5 to 10 minutes to do every Monday morning. And that is, I go in and I might pull statistics from MLS and give us a short blurb on what's going on with the real estate market in the Eugene and Springfield area. And also put in those statistics on for that I got from MLS. Okay. The other thing I can do is I can go in and I can take articles from places like realtor.com. There's hundreds and hundreds of different places online where you can go in and get information on what's happening in the real estate market. But the biggest thing is when you send this email out, you don't want it to be long because they won't take the time to read it. So you want it to be short. It's got to be informational, something that they want to open up and take a look at. And if you keep it local, there was a heading on your email, local, something that most anybody that's buying or selling a home in the Eugene and Springfield area might be interested in reading. You're going to get a lot more people opening this email up. So the other thing you want to do is you want to have that email brand you. So that email needs to have your name on it. It needs to have your photo on it, which helps even more. So that even if they don't read the email, if they just click on it and open it up, guess what? They see your name and your face. And all this goes towards building brand awareness. And they, again, every time they see you, it's just one more hit on them that you're in the real estate business in Eugene and Springfield. And every time it builds on itself. Every time you make contact with them, it just keeps building more and more on that top of mind awareness that they have. So the one thing about sending that out is you never miss a Monday morning. I've done this for, and I'm going to guess 15 years, and I've never missed one Monday morning. I've been late a couple different times with it. And the reason I've been late was, something like what happened to me with this computer getting hacked or whatever, and I got it out late. And usually what happens if I get it out late, just to give you an idea how many people are reading it, my email is flooded for the rest of the day on I didn't get my Monday morning coffee. So, or my Monday morning real estate update. I actually call it Monday morning coffee because I put a inspirational message also in it every single week, and it's called Monday morning coffee. And I get this, it's just a subscription I get that gives a new inspirational message every week. So you can attach things like that will also have an impact. But the biggest thing is to send that out and send it out regularly every single Monday morning. Okay. So here's the other thing that we do. We do a email newsletter. Okay. So we do a newsletter once a month, and I do it 2 different ways. I do it on email. So that same database that I send Monday morning real estate out to also gets my real estate newsletter once a week. The great thing about email is I'm touching over 15,000 people every time I send it out. The great thing about email is it doesn't cost me anything. All it does is, the only thing it costs me is a little bit of my time. So email is, it's probably the greatest thing we have at keeping in front of people. So, so two email touches. One is the Monday morning, and the other one is the once a month newsletter. Okay, I also take that newsletter and I send it out in print. Now I don't send it out in print to 15,000 because I don't even have 15,000 addresses, because a lot of them are email addresses. But I do send it out in print to about 2,500. So every month, that printed newsletter goes out to 2,500 people. Okay. So I also do a postcard, which is a postcard that goes out strictly to past clients. So we're hitting our past client database with a postcard that has a free offering every month. So we'll offer something like a free ice cream cone at Salt and Straw, or it could be $5 off of a pizza at Papa's, various different things. So I have somebody that does this for me. They actually make the contacts with the different businesses and put those coupons together, and then puts that postcard together, and then we mail it out. But my entire database of past clients get that every single month. So it's really easy to do. If you want to do this yourself, all you got to do is go around to different businesses and talk to them and ask them if they'd be interested in you sending out a discount postcard to your past database. You know, they're certainly going to do it because you're going to help them with their business, and it's going to help you with you. So here's what happens. You're sending this out on a postcard that's branding you. You're going out to people, you're giving them something of value. And when you give somebody something of value, they remember it. And again, that postcard, it's got your photo on it, it's got your name on it, and it's branding you. Whether they use it or not, it's still branding you. So you're giving them something of value that brands you. And what happens a lot of times, they might pass that coupon on to somebody else. They might pass it on to a friend, a relative, one of their children, whoever. But it gets a lot of mileage. So that's something that we do once a month as well. Okay. So the other thing is phone calls. And I can't tell you how valuable it is to pick up the phone and call people. Now, this is probably the one thing I have the hardest time doing. I don't, I do it. I force myself to do it for year after year after year to do it, but it's hard for me to pick up the phone. So I have to be very systemized with it. So I have a period of time every single morning before I come to work. I have an hour that I make phone calls. So what I do, I go through that database, and every morning I have a list of people that I'm going to call before I come to work. Normally, I try to make touch with somewhere between 6 to 8 people every single morning before I come in. But the result of this is that I cycle through my entire database twice a year by calling them. I talk to them twice a year. And that phone call is probably one of the greatest things I do to get business, because it gives you a chance not only to talk to the person that's the prospect or past client or whoever they may be, and personally find out if they're thinking about buying a home, looking for a home, selling a home, where they might be. Also ask them for referrals. Ask them if they have a relative, a friend, work associate, whoever that might be looking for a home or thinking about selling a home, and ask for the referral. But anyway, it gives you the chance to talk with somebody and actually get into conversation with them, and that's much more powerful than any other thing. Anytime you get face to face with somebody or have a direct conversation with them, it's actually one of the most powerful things you can do. So if you have the ability, and especially if your database isn't big, it's very easy to make these calls. As your database gets bigger, it gets harder to go through that. And I'm fortunate I have a team. So my team helps me with these phone calls, because we got a lot of phone calls to make, and I probably couldn't get through my entire database by myself every year. But now we've expanded that to not just once a year to make that phone call. We call through our database twice a year and try to talk to everybody. If I don't get them on the phone, I do leave a message, because even if I don't talk to them, I leave a message and they at least have acknowledgement that I was thinking about them and made a call to them. So make sure you set it up to make that phone call. And then like I said, you need to do the same thing I do. You need to be regimented with those phone calls, because it's easy just to say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week. I don't have time to do it. And it's the same thing with all this. If you're not systemized, if it isn't on your calendar, if you don't have a system where and put it into your calendar to do this every single day, it's really easy not to do it, because in real estate, you know how busy we get, and it's hard to follow a plan once you're busy. So one of the things that's important to do is you set up these action plans, is also to set up a calendar. And especially with phone calls, you've got to designate a time every single day that you're going to make those phone calls, and don't schedule any other activities into that time period. That's a golden time for you that you need to take to make those phone calls. Okay. So the other thing that I'm going to touch on, and I think this is probably truthfully the second most powerful thing we do next to phone calls, but it's another touch, and that's text messaging. Now, text messaging, you got to be a little careful with it, because you don't want to overdo it, or you can turn people off with it. But if you send a contact, a past client or whatever, a text, say once a month, just checking in with them or saying hi, it's very powerful. Email used to be just as powerful as what text is today, but email, people's inboxes are so flooded anymore, and a lot of your emails may go into spam folders and so on. So it's not read as much as what a text is. So the chances of your text message being read are much greater than what an email is. So don't forget about text messaging. And there's also, you can set up with some of the databases, automated text messaging, which we use that as well. So it's never as powerful as if you send somebody a personal text message, but automated text messaging works, and it's a way to reach a lot of people really easily. And I'm going to jump backwards a little bit too. I was talking about email and email deliverability, and I just wanted to touch on one thing, is that one of the ways you can increase your email deliverability is to use a company like Constant Contact. So if you send out an email yourself, that email many times is going to get caught up in spam filters. If you use a company like Constant Contact, their email deliverability is going to be much greater than what yours is. And especially if you're sending out bulk emails like I am, where I send out 15,000 plus emails, my email deliverability becomes very limited. If I send it out through Constant Contact, it is much greater. And the reason for that is there's a system, what they do is, Constant Contact is that they do a process which is called whitelisting. And that means they've contacted most of the different email providers, and they verify that anything that comes out from their servers is not spam. So you have to meet certain requirements and so on to be able to use Constant Contact. But if you can meet that and send out through their servers, you're not going to get caught up in people's spam filters near as much as if you're just sending out emails directly from your database program or whatever without using Constant Contact. So that's just a little tip I'll give you that might help you with your email. Okay, the other thing that we do to keep in contact with people are personal note cards. Any of you ever use personal note cards? So they also are extremely powerful. If you sit down and take the time to write somebody a note and send it to them, it's pretty powerful. And I know every now and then I'll get somebody write me a personal note on a note card, and I get it. And I get it so rarely, it really has an impact on me, because I know that person took the time, they're thinking about me, to sit down and actually write out that note to me and send it to me. So if you take the time to go through your database and send out personal note cards, it's really powerful. And people just don't do that much anymore. So I can tell you that most of the people you send those out to aren't getting very many of them. So what I would suggest you do is get some note cards made that, again, have your name on it, your logo, your photo, the brand you. Send out all your notes on that note card. Okay, go through your entire database just like you are with phone calls and pick out past clients, so on. Send out personal note cards to them. Also, if you meet with somebody on a listing appointment, or you meet with a new buyer, immediately, as soon as you get back to your office, put them in your database and then send out the personal note card, thanking them for taking the time to meet with you. It's powerful. I can't tell you how many listings I've got from it where I was out competing with other agents. I was the only one that not only made a phone call back to him to check on him after the meeting, but also followed up with a personal note card. So personal note cards are something that every one of you should be doing a lot. Even if you meet somebody in a grocery store, a past client or a friend or whatever, send out a personal note card. Even if they're not a real estate client, send it out. It goes out on your note card that brands you as a real estate agent. And again, it has an impact on them, keeping you in front of them and creating that top of mind awareness that you're a real estate agent in the Eugene and Springfield area. Okay. So hopefully that kind of gives you some ideas of some things that you can do. If you don't want to tackle all those at one time, the ones that are key are get an email campaign going on. Get that email set up to be email in your database. It's easy to automate that one, and it's easy to send that out. It doesn't cost you a thing. Get the newsletter going out. Easy to do. The other one, the personal note cards, easy to do. Phone calls, again, pretty easy to do. Okay. And don't forget the personal note card. So anyway, that's what I do. And you can see how many times I'm touching everybody in my database, and it does pay off. So the other thing you want to do is in your database, you want to set up when you do make contact with people, say you're making phone calls and so on. And this is one of the great things about Command. You can go in there and put notes into your database on that call. And you can also put reminders in there. So in other words, maybe you talk to somebody and they're not looking for a home right now, but they might be, they say that they might be in the market 6 months from now. Well, don't wait 6 months to call them in 3 months. So you put that into your calendar when you make that call. So those are just some different functions that you can do using your database that are going to be really productive. Okay. So also, I'm just going down through different things that they've got here. So they've got calculating the number of telephone touches based on the number of contacts in your database. So they've got some goal setting here that'll kind of go through. You fill in the numbers here, and it'll kind of give you an idea of how many calls you've got to make and how many calls per year, per month, per week, and per day. Okay. So goal setting is something that you certainly want to incorporate into this as well as your calendar. And how many of you have a calendar set up right now, a daily calendar set up? Yay. Good job, Amanda. Good job.
That completely dictates what every single day does. I usually spend Sunday evening filling out my schedule for the week. So if I've got
Perfect.
classes go first, and then follow-ups get plugged in, and I just block off an hour or 30 minutes to do a video. I do Monday morning market updates with Manda and Friday fun facts, similar to what you were kind of talking about. And I usually post them on social media, but I've been getting in the habit of getting my lenders to do the same thing and sharing those via email. So
Perfect.
like 3 videos in one.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you that calendar I think is probably, along with your database and your calendar are the 2 key ingredients you have to be successful in real estate. And again, as I was saying before, the biggest problem we have in real estate is there's so many distractions, so many things that hit us every single day. You know, unless we have a calendar where we actually block out time, you know, we're not going to get any of this stuff done. We can have the greatest intentions in the world to make phone calls, send out newsletters, send out postcards, all these different things. But unless we block out that time in our calendar, we're not going to get it done. And so what I do, and similar to what Amanda's doing, I have a yearly calendar, a monthly calendar, and then I have my weekly calendar. So my yearly calendar has all these activities that I talked to you about that we're going to be doing on a regular basis already plugged in, so that they just pop up. My monthly calendar, I'll add things in like classes, so on, that, you know, come up, you know, that I might not know about when I'm doing my yearly calendar. And then my weekly calendar, you know, Monday morning, that's one of the things I do before I come to work. And actually I do this even before I start making phone calls, is I go through and I fill out my weekly calendar, my listing appointments, buyer appointments, whatever they might be. I put those into my calendar. But if you remember, when you go in there, I've already got my monthly items filled in. I've already got my yearly items filled in, which a lot of those are prospecting items, and I don't change them. I keep those. Those are appointments. So I schedule around them. So if I have a listing appointment and somebody wants to, you know, they want to meet with me at 8:30 on a Monday morning, well, 8:30 is when I'm making phone calls. So I just let them know, you know, I've already got an appointment at 8:30 on Monday morning. But here's some timeframes that I can meet with you on Monday. So so you always want to stick to that calendar. You don't want to just keep fudging on it, or guess what? You won't be consistent with the things we talked about on both lead generating and with you know, keeping in contact with people. Those items that you need to do, you're not going to get them done. Or if you get them done, they're going to be sporadic. And if you're sporadic, all these systems don't work. As I mentioned before, being consistent is the key ingredient. And to be consistent, you got to have a calendar that you stick to. So the other thing, you know, with Command and a lot of other databases, they have smart plans, so that when you put a contact into your database, say it's somebody that you came in as an internet lead and they're going to be looking for homes in the Eugene and Springfield area, you put them in as a contact into your Command database. You put them in as a prospect, and you can have campaigns set up specifically for what they're going to do. So you can have an email campaign, a phone campaign, and so on that's already set up that you add them into that plan. It's called a smart plan that automatically sends out letters, emails, and tells you, reminds you when you need to make those phone calls. That is really helpful. And I'll tell you, without it, if you start getting a lot of prospects that you're trying to do this without a smart plan, you're going to fall short. You're going to forget. You're going to drop the ball on people, and you're not going to be consistent with doing this. So setting up those smart plans is really important. And it's easy to do in Command, Top Producer, some of the other databases. It's easy to put that contact in there and set up a smart plan. Now you can always edit those smart plans as things change too. So if I have, say, a buyer that contacted me from my internet, and I put them onto a smart plan that's for an internet lead that's looking for houses in the Eugene Springfield area, and now I make contact with them, maybe we have a phone conversation, or maybe we had an appointment, or maybe I even met with them and showed them houses. I still don't want to drop the ball on them, but I'm going to be keeping in touch with them a little bit differently than I was before I met with them and talked to them. So I got another smart plan that's set up for them that I just changed the plan that I put them into. So again, I still don't drop the ball on them. Okay. Okay. So how many of you are using Command? Just, you can raise your hand or whatever, that have Command set up. Okay. I know, and I'll be truthful with you. I haven't converted my whole business over to Command until about 6 months ago, because I found it a little bit cumbersome. It's getting better and better all the time. It's good enough now that, I mean, it's the Keller Williams system that, you know, we're not paying an arm and a leg for like you will some of the systems. And if you're not using it, there's a lot of classes that Keller Williams has to get you started. And I'm learning more and more about it all the time. I've been going to a lot of the sessions on it and some of the online sessions as well. And I've got my marketing person, and I've got him going to all the sessions. So we're learning more and more about Command all the time. But it's to a level now that it's you know, once you start using it, you get used to it. It's pretty doggone easy, and it pretty well covers all the things we need to do in the way of lead generation. So how on that calendar, how many of you or all of you, do you have time right now blocked out for lead generation? Okay.
I haven't been consistent enough with that, but it is on my calendar.
Okay. So I guess that's, you know, and I know there's a whole nother session in Ignite on lead generation, but you know, this whole thing starts with lead generation. Without lead generation, we don't have anything. So as I was talking about early on, the size of your database is going to be directly proportional to how many buyers and sellers you end up working with and how many deals you're going to end up doing at the end of the year. So the larger that database becomes, the more business you're going to do from that. And lead generation is something that, again, just like sending out emails or doing postcards and so on. If I'm not lead generating, I'm growing that database regularly, I'm not going to have the database I need to keep in touch with. And so by setting up time on my calendar every single day to lead generate, it forces me to, during that period of time, to lead generate. Now, I also need to know what I'm going to do during that time I'm going to lead generate. Am I going to make phone calls? Am I going to go after, am I going to work on getting internet leads? What am I going to do during that lead generation time? Or am I going to go knock on doors? Am I going to do open houses? What does my lead generation look like? And I also need to plan out how many hours I'm going to spend every single day lead generating. And if I don't have a lot of business and I don't have a very big database, my lead generation time should be pretty doggone big, or should be a pretty substantial part of my day. And the more time and the more time I spend at it, of course, if I'm doing the right things, I'm going to be adding more leads. So you need to have goals to how many contacts you're going to be making every single day, how you're going to make those contacts, and have goals set for how many contacts I'm going to make, how many people I'm going to put, how many contacts I'm going to put into my database, and how many of those contacts I'm going to convert into buyers and sellers, and how many closings I'm going to have as a result of those contacts that I made, that I put into my database, that I put into my touch system, whether it's 33 touch, 36 touch, 72 touch. How many leads do I have to put into that to generate the kind of business I want at the end of the year? Okay, so that's how you should set this up: is how many contacts I make, how many times do I keep, how many times do I need to touch them, that means contact them, and what's my percentage of conversion going to be as a result of that? How many deals am I going to, how many buyers and sellers am I going to do business with by the end of the year with a closed transaction as a result of that? Okay, if you're new to the business, it's a little bit tough to come up with that, but as the longer you're in the business and you start getting an idea of how many contacts you got to make to get a lead, how many leads it takes to generate a buyer or a seller, and how many of those buyers and sellers am I going to work with to convert them into a closed sale. So you need to have a goal, and you need to have a plan based on how many of those leads you need to have, and going on down the line, how many times to have to touch them, so on. And that's going to help you set up your calendar as well. How much time do I have to put into it to get the number of leads I need to do the kind of business I want to do? Does that all make sense? I know it's a little bit complicated. It takes you a little bit of time getting all this set up. And the great thing about it is, you can be changing this all the time, but start out with some kind of a plan and then just change it. If it's, add to it, add more lead generation time, add more time devoted towards keeping in touch with people, come up with new ideas on how to keep in touch with people. As they mentioned early on, other things you can do as you start getting some clients in your database, you can do client appreciation parties. You can do all kinds of different things that are going to get you face to face with people. One of the things that we do every year, we used to do at Thanksgiving time, but now we do it at Christmas because too many other agents do this at Thanksgiving. So we wanted to be different, but we do a pumpkin pie giveaway. So if you're a past client of mine, in about 2 weeks, well, less than that now, you're going to get a postcard with a website that you go sign up to get a free pumpkin pie at Christmas time. Now, to get that free pumpkin pie, guess what? You get to come by my office to get it. All you got to do is go to the website, sign up, tell me, and we'll give you an option of 3 different days to come in, and you sign up for what day you're coming in. The reason we do that is that way we know how many pies we need that day. And then guess what? We're in the office to greet them when they come in. It's one of the greatest things we do every year to get face to face with past clients when they come in to get those pies. Now, not every past client comes in to get a pie, but I think we gave out somewhere around, I can't remember, like 175 pies last year. So we got to talk to face with 175 of our past clients last year. And out of that, yeah, we did some business. We reconnected with people. We found people that had mothers and fathers that needed to sell houses. We had some that had kids that needed to sell houses, and some that they themselves were thinking about selling their houses or buying houses, so that we connected with. So it all pays off. But so that's something you can do. Another thing that we've done in the past is at the beginning of the spring, usually we'll do it in end of April, 1st of May. We'll run a couple dumpsters. We'll have them dropped off. We'll find a vacant lot. Last year we did it right out here in the back of the Keller Williams Market Center. But we sent out a postcard to all of our past clients, telling them it's spring cleaning time and that we have 2 dumpsters out there, and they're welcome to bring all their trash, whatever they need, and use the dumpsters for free. So guess what? A lot of people take advantage of that. They load up all their junk that they accumulated all the past year or whatever it might be. They bring it out and dump it. We're set up out there with water bottles and snacks and everything, and talk to them. So there's just you can get really creative with the different things that you can do to, keep in touch with people, and the sky's the limit on these things. I know agents that do movie nights, where they'll go in and rent a theater for an evening, and they'll give out free movie passes and have a movie play and have a free movie and popcorn and so on for all their clients. So I mean, it's like I said, it's the sky's the limit on different things that you can do. Okay. So if you guys want to unmute yourselves, what I'd like to do is kind of have an idea a little bit about some ideas from each one of you that you're going to do as a result of what we talked about. Give me an idea of some action items that you're going to do immediately for lead generation and start keeping in touch with those contacts, with those leads. Okay, Amanda, go ahead. You start.
Do you think that there is I don't want to say market because that's not really the right word, but for bilingual or multilingual agents and trying to do things around that, is that much of a thing?
You can make it a thing. I haven't really heard a lot of that, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something. So if you've got an idea on how to do that, go for it.
I speak English, I speak Spanish, and I'm taking Italian. So, I started getting like pen pals, but they're all over the country, which is kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. But
yeah,
like you said, I hear a lot of fairly similar ideas. A lot of agents do barbecues in the summer. I even hosted a barbecue myself. A lot of people will do something Halloween-y, candy giveaway related. Everyone always does some sort of a pie thing for the holidays. So for the sake of trying to be original, you would say that being creative with bilingual or multilingualism could be a unique or successful niche.
Right. Well, one of the things I can think of is that, I probably would use that in my branding for sure. I would advertise the fact that you are bilingual and you speak those different languages. Because if you got somebody that speaks one of those languages, they may choose to do business with you because they feel like they can communicate with you better. So I would definitely use them in my marketing.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. And I would just say, don't ever be afraid to mention your accomplishments and things you do in any of your marketing, because here's the one thing with marketing and real estate. Realtors all do marketing in different ways, okay? A lot of it looks exactly the same, and guess what? The people that we're doing business with think we're all the same. They really do.
Yeah,
they think we're all the same. And before I got into real estate, I had a preconceived notion about real estate agents, and I thought they were all the same. So anything that you can do to set yourself apart from all those other agents that are out there, jump on it, okay? Try to set yourself apart from the other agents with the branding you do, with the different things like your languages that you do, anything that you do differently than most other agents, use that in your marketing. Get creative with it. It really works.
Okay.
Anybody else have any ideas, things they're gonna do right away? Kevin, you got anything?
Well, I'm brand new. I just joined on Thursday, like this last Thursday. So I still have to
Congratulations.
go out, make my thanks. Yeah, thank you. I gotta go make my cards, and then I have to like post on my social media that I'm now with Keller Williams.
Mhm.
So there's a lot I have to do. So yeah,
There is.
just a few things I'm gonna do.
As a new
Yeah.
agent, it's overwhelming. But I'm gonna tell you what, Kevin, the biggest thing for a new agent, if you want to be successful in real estate, is number one, look around this market center at the agents that have been around for a while and they're doing business, and copy them. Okay. Go to as much training as you can.
Okay.
Try to get yourself in front of those agents that have been around a while as much as you can and learn from them. Okay.
I
Secondly,
heard, don't
biggest
be a
thing is-
secret agent.
What's that?
Don't be a secret agent.
Don't
That's
be a
the big
secret
thing.
agent. That's actually,
Secret agent.
that's one of the best things you could ever say is don't be a secret agent. But get your database going, learn command right away, and lead generate. Okay. Think about everybody you know and get them in your database. All your friends, all your relatives, everybody you know, get them in that database. There's no reason in the world you can't start out in real estate with at least a couple hundred people in the database and start marketing to them. And then have a goal of adding 4 or 5 people every single day to it. If you add 5 people to your database every single day, 35 people a week, 70 people every 2 weeks, that's 140 people at the end of the month. That database starts growing pretty fast. Okay.
Okay.
So that's the key. That's, you like I said, this is my 34th year in real estate. One thing that has not changed is the fact that real estate is a personal business. They used to say all the time that we're going to be, technology is going to take the place of real estate agents. It isn't. It never will. Because guess what? People need us. And it's one of those businesses that people want to do business with people they trust and they know. So once you build that database, all you got to do is keep yourself in front of them and do a good job and be the person that they trust, and you'll have a very successful career. And that will never change in real estate. They're going to need you. They're going to need your services, and they want to do business with people they like and they know. So the other thing that, social media, that's another way you can touch people. And I should have mentioned that before, but so how many of you are on social media? Okay. So the way social media works is if, believe it or not, people will check you out on social media. If they don't know who you are, and you're going to go meet with them, say, talking about listing their house, guess what they're probably going to do before they ever meet with you? They're going to check you out on social media. So being on social media is highly important, but you also need to be very careful about what you do with social media. And I see real estate agents do this all the time, where they post things that might be controversial, or they may not be something that some people like. Okay. So, and you want to set your image up on social media as this professional person, this professional real estate agent, that when people go and see you on social media, they think of you as a professional. Okay. So it's totally different than just if you're going on Instagram and you're not selling real estate and you're just want to be friends with everybody. You've got an image you want to uphold as a real estate agent. So avoid controversial subjects. Always look professional with anything you post.
No beer bongs, no crazy parties,
Yep.
no politics.
No skimpy bikinis, no skimpy swimming suits, all that stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Class.
no brainer, but I see it all the time, right? And guess what? Here's the other thing on social media. Don't just put out your professional side. Don't be afraid to put out your personal side, okay? Because people want it, like I said, people want to do business with people they like. And so like me, I'm a huge fisherman, okay? That's my passion. Other than selling real estate, it's fishing. So what I you know, if I don't put real estate information on my social media, it's phishing. And I can't tell you how many people relate to me through phishing, but guess what? That relationship through phishing works into a relationship into real estate. So, you know, and also I post things with my grandkids, my kids, and going to duck games, things like that. People want to know who you are. They really do. But again, be careful about how you do that. Okay. So it should be a mix of both the professional you and the private you. Just be careful on both fronts on how you represent it. And don't ever make a post unless you really think about it hard before you push that post button. Okay. So anyway, that's, and there's so many different places on social media. I mean, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got, I don't know, Twitter's back on, or, you know, Twitter, you got, I don't know, there's tons of them that you can link it in, you know, lots of different places that you can go. You can do them all or do a few, but it is a place you should be. You should also set up a business page on places like Facebook too. And you should try to get as many people to like it as you can, because more people you get to like your Facebook business page, the better. And then guess what? Every time you get a listing, every time you get a buyer, you take a picture of the buyers, hand them the key if their new home or whatever it might be, put it on your Facebook business page. And guess what? Now everybody on your Facebook business page that's liked it gets a copy of that. Plus everybody that's friends with you on Facebook also gets that. So lots of different things you can do that don't cost you money, just cost you a little bit of time to do it. So, okay. Any other things you guys could think about, action plans that you're going to go do today, as soon as we get off this call? I know you're not all doing everything I talked about, so I hope you go take advantage and do some of them, okay?
My goal today is to get the is to get my email set up with the smart plan.
Christmas stuff set up.
Honey.
Perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's a huge one, and that's one that's really easy to set up and isn't going to take you much time. And I can't express to you how much impact that's going to have if you start doing that and you're consistent with it. I mean, it's, you know, I've done it for long enough now that, I mean, the amount of business I've generated from it it's just unbelievable. You know, it's
getting emails, like trying to get emails from people because I just got started last month.
Yeah.
But so far people are sending me their email with me just asking. So that hasn't really been a problem, other than just like the time that it takes to gather and get that information inputted in the system.
Yeah. And you know, here's one of the things, you know, when you're lead generating, the two most important things you can get, of course, you want to get their name, but the most important thing to do is get a phone number and an email address. Okay. You don't need to get their personal address. If you can get it, great. But people are pretty willing to give you email addresses, especially if you got something that you can give them. So if you're talking to somebody that's a buyer, you know, the way to get their email address is ask them if they're thinking about, you know, looking for homes in Eugene, Springfield area. Say, hey, you know what? I can set you up with a search that notifies you automatically when homes meeting your criteria hit the market. You can set that up in RMLS for them. Okay. But I need your email address. And if you'd like to, I just say, I'm not going to bother you. You're just going to get the homes automatically emailed to you. And if you see something you like, get in touch. Okay. Well, guess what? I got their name and their email address. Now they go in, I set up the home search for them. They start getting houses. I put them into command as a prospect. I put them into my drip campaign, and they start getting email, my Monday morning real estate update. They started getting my newsletter. Okay. So they're getting houses, they're getting my Monday morning real estate update, and they're getting my monthly email newsletter. So that's how I start dripping on them. Sellers, guess what? I asked them, say, hey, you know, you think about selling, you know, how would it be if I sent you out a new CMA every single month? Now there's ways you can automate that. I've got two different systems that I use. One of them is called Top Producer. The other one's called Boomtown. I can automatically just put their name in there, and it automatically generates a new CMA for those prospects every single month. But until you get a whole bunch of them, you probably don't want to put the money out to have a system like that. So just do it yourself. Just have a list of people that every month you generate a CMA and you email it to them. So just say, you know, I'll tell you what, if you want to keep on top of what your home value is in the market, just give me your email address. I'll be glad to send you by email a new CMA every single month. Does that interest you? So look for ways that people will give you what you need: phone number, email address. And then once I've got a phone number, guess what? I got the ability to call them and text them. If I got an email address, I got the ability to drip on them with emails. So it's great if I have both. If I don't have both and I got one, I still can drip on them. And I can still put them in my database. I can still keep in touch with them. Okay. So, and that's where it goes back to lead generation and how effective you can be with lead generation. You know, you got to have enough information when you generate I don't think it's really a lead unless you've got one of those two, an email address or a phone number. Okay. And the other thing is, when you're talking to people, ask for the business. You know, we forget about that in real estate all the time. When we talk to people, you might run into somebody at a sporting event or at the grocery store or whatever, and you start talking to them. And once they know you're in real estate, guess what they always ask you? They always ask you, hey, how's the market going? Or how's your business? It's an opening every single time to give them a little bit of information that they asked you. Well, how's business going? Well, yeah, it's going great. Going great. We're helping a lot of people right now. By the way, you think about buying or selling a home in the near future? Do you know of anybody? Ask them that every single time. You'd be shocked at how many times people will come back. Well, you know what? My aunt's thinking about maybe selling her house, or yeah, my grandmother, I think we're going to have to put her in long-term care, and she's going to have she's got a house we're going to have to sell her. So, you know, you never know where that's going to lead you, but it's not, you're never going to get there unless you ask the question. Okay. All of you in the habit of doing that yet? I still, every now and then I run into somebody and go, dang, I blew it. I forgot to do that. And not very often anymore. I mean, I'm pretty consistent with it, but every now and then I still blow it. So, and I've got my wife trained too.
My honey, so I got magnets on my car and I put a sign in my front yard, which is funny because I get called about people asking me, oh, can I, is that house yada, yada, yada for sale? Well, that one's not available right now, but I will absolutely help you look for some other properties that are similar to it. So me having a sign in my yard, and it's just an advertising sign. It's not a for sale sign. It just says my name and number. But that, and I slapped some car magnets on my car and my husband's car.
Fantastic. Good job.
Every time we're driving around, and I mean, those magnets only cost, I think, $40 for 2 large car magnets.
Yeah, and so you get one deal out of that. Kind of pays for itself, doesn't it?
Well, it pays for itself and then some. Even the fact that people are calling or contacting, like, I'm getting your information just by having that there.
Yeah. Good idea.
Well, I'm out in Florence as well, and there's a lot of older folks. So trying to market, if you really dive into the statistics of it, you'll find you can reach younger clients online on social media. Older clients still look at newspapers or public bulletins and things like that. So I try to do a little bit of material that kind of touches, you know, different demographics.
Yeah. Perfect. So how many of you are doing open houses right now? Good. So in this market, I know everybody says, I hate doing open houses. I don't ever get any business from them. I hear everything in the world. In this market, we're going into where it's going to be tougher to get leads. Doing open houses is huge. And you don't have to have listings to get open houses, to do open houses. Put it out on the Keller Williams intranet and tell them you're available to do an open house, and you'll be shocked at how many offers you're going to get. Also, watch on the internet, because I see agents all in there all the time. Tell them that they need somebody to do an open house on a specific day. Volunteer for them. If you got your own listings, open houses every single weekend until they close, until you get an offer on them and it's accepted. But do open houses. You might have some open houses that are just duds. No one shows up. But you're going to have some of them that you're going to have a lot of people. And sometimes all it takes is one person, if it's the right person, that comes through that open house to get a really good lead. But it's, again, open houses are something, especially as a newer agent, doesn't cost you a bunch of money. All you got to do is do a little bit of advertising online and RMLS and put signs up in the front yard. And guess what? You got people coming through. Also, there's people coming through, you know, some are looky-loos, but some of them are raising their hand and say, hey, I'm a buyer. Okay. So, but the biggest thing with open houses is, you know, everybody has that's, there's a lot of people who are very successful at open houses. And they all have different techniques on how to be successful. But the biggest thing is, I can just leave you with one thing: get into conversation with people. Just get into conversation with them. That's the biggest thing. Don't let them just walk through the house and don't talk to them. Try to find out if they're in the market for purchasing a home. Don't be afraid to ask them. If not, if they're thinking about selling a house, you know, get into conversation with them and find out. And then and then if they are, then try to offer them something that might help them out in the process. Okay. That automated home search, automated CMA, all those are things you can offer to help them that might allow you at an open house to get a name and an email address. Okay. All right. You guys have any questions on anything? Anything I can help you with? Okay. Well, I'm in the office most of the time, so I'm down at the end of the hallway, open door at my place. So if you ever have any questions, I think I can help you with, stop by.
Eugene, right?
What's that?
You're in Eugene?
I'm in Eugene.
Is a question.
Where are you at?
I'm
Where
in
you
Florence.
Huh?
I know, I guess it's kind of funny. My license is with Eugene, so you'd see my face on the board, but I'm over in Florence.
Oh, that's right. You're in Florence.
And I don't really touch much of Eugene, so I kind of go from
Yeah.
Florence to Coos Bay up to Lincoln City.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a listing in Florence right now. So
I believe
yeah, we do a
it.
little bit of Florence, but well, I'm glad we talked. So we'll keep you in mind.
Absolutely.
We get stuff going in Florence. But anyway, you know, the other thing is just with Keller Williams, and I'm going to tell you this, it's important to plug into the Keller Williams training. And you never quit learning. 34 years in the business, I still listen to seminars all the time. I go to training events. I never quit learning because things are always changing. There's new twists, there's new ideas, and being around people that are highly successful wears off on you. You can't help but not have it wear off on you, and you learn from them. And that's one of the greatest things about being a Keller Williams agent is the amount of training we get and the kind of agents you have access to. And you know, I always think, you know, if you join Keller Williams and you want to be a successful real estate agent, there's not one thing in the world that should stop you from doing it. The only thing that could ever stop you is you know. But if you do all the things, the lead prospecting, the keeping in, setting up your systems, setting up your contact systems, all that, there's no way you're going to fail in this business. And you know, real estate is cyclic. You know, we've gone through a cycle that was pretty good market, but it had its trials too. We're going to go into a little bit different kind of market now, where interest rates are going to get higher. But you know what? When I started in real estate, interest rates were at 13%, and I still did business. I did back then. Doing $1 million in 1 year of real estate was huge because our average sales price in Eugene was like $110,000. So I did $1.5 million my first year, and I really didn't know what I was doing, but I worked hard. So I mean, and that was at 13% interest rates. Okay, so with every market, some doors close. There's going to be some other doors that open up. But right now, people need your help as an agent more than they've ever needed. Okay, because it's more challenging, especially for buyers. Okay, so find out different things, talk to lenders, find out about different loan programs, about how to buy interest rates down, lots of things that you know that you can help people out with. And that's how you're going to do business in the next year or so. Okay. All right. Well, thanks all of you for being with me today. Sorry I was late. My computer got hacked Friday, and it was a total disaster just getting it back up today. So
No,
Anyway.
you have all my empathy. I don't know if Mara is within earshot or if somebody that has any sort of technological influences within earshot. I was also almost 20 minutes late today because when I pulled up the calendar in the KW thing, like 5 minutes before we started, there was no link to get to Zoom to
Oh,
and
okay.
there was nothing in the email.
Okay, well, I know there was nothing in the email, and that's why I had trouble getting in, is because all my email got,
Yeah, I had to go way back through and then I found, I called the office and somebody at the office said, well, if you go back through to an older email, that there's
okay.
a link you can click on. And that was
I'll
actually
let
how
it,
I got in.
they already know that, but I'll let them know about the calendar. So, but anyway, I'm gonna close with this, and I'm gonna tell you, this is, I'll tell you what happened to me. And I thought I was pretty well protected. I got Norton on my computer and so on, but I found out that even if you got Norton, McAfee, any of that, you've got to update them all the time because there's new ways of them coming in and getting through that. And they're always updating, and you got to keep updated or else you're still vulnerable. But they hit my Facebook page first. They actually went in and posted pornography on my Facebook page, which Facebook then disabled me. And once they disabled me, I'll never get my Facebook page back. It's gone. And I mean, I've spent years building my Facebook account and it's gone. It's 100% gone. I'll never get it back. The other thing they did from that, they got into my computer with what's called a keystroke virus. They got all my passwords. They got into my email. They got into Google. They got into Command. They got into my Apple Wallet that had 2 credit cards in it, got in my credit cards and started charging up on my credit cards. So yeah, it's been a mess. So make sure you're protected online and make sure you got some kind of protection on your computer and update it regularly. I wasn't doing it and I paid the price for it. So.
You know, it's horrible because my Norton literally just expired if like just last week. Now I hit the X.
Yeah.
And what you just said just made me not want to hit the X again.
Well, be careful. That's another thing. Be careful because you'll get notifications that your Norton just expired. It isn't Norton. So you'll go in there thinking you're renewing it and it'll be somebody that's posted that up and you give them all your information and guess what? Now they're in. So be really careful on all that stuff too. I know a couple people that have got hacked from doing that. So just saying, be careful. So, all right, good luck to all of you.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for being here again. Sorry I was late, but we hope you all learned a lot. So take care. Bye-bye.